Joining us now is Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson. Sarah, great to have you back on the show as always. So much we can talk about, but we're going to kick off. I wanted to ask you about the King Valley in Victoria. We've suddenly got solar panels the size of 280 Melbourne cricket grounds across this beautiful part of the world. The locals are up in arms. They're furious. They've been just ignored. 500 submissions, objections, all ignored. This thing going ahead. What do you say as a Victorian senator?
Well, Rowan, good morning. And this is an appalling decision. And the fact that the community does not have any rights of appeal under changes to the law passed by the Jacinta Allen toxic Labor government last year is just reprehensible. When I read this report last night, I just felt sickened. This is prime agricultural land, and they're proposing to put this massive lithium battery there as well, and that of course is a huge fire risk, and there's also a number of endangered species. So this madness continues in Victoria, and what I am going to try and do is put up a private senator's bill to protect farmers' rights. I spoke about this earlier, the need to stop any Commonwealth funding, any subsidies on any new electricity infrastructure project where it causes harm to the local community and, of course, jeopardises farmers' rights. So I'm going to work very hard on that, and I really hope that the likes of the member for Indi might actually step up and support me along with the Greens, because this is just terrible. Our state is going backwards at such a rate of knots, and really, really frightening what's happening.
Rita.
The Nationals will be making a decision on net zero any minute now, hopefully sometime in this hour. And if, as expected, they walk away from net zero, where does that leave the coalition? Where does that leave the Liberal Party? Could the coalition survive with the party split on this critical issue? Well,
Rita, I'm very much hoping the party will not split, because I think the only choice we have is to reject net zero in its entirety. These net zero laws are not working. All Australians can see it. There's no reduction in electricity prices. Electricity is skyrocketing. Emissions are flatlining. Our electricity grid is unreliable. This is madness, quite frankly. We need to embrace our resource-rich country, our uranium, our gas, our coal. And sure, there's room for renewables as well, Rita, but only when they don't cause environmental and economic destruction. So I really hope, and I say to all my colleagues in the Liberal Party, and I know many are on board with rejecting net zero, we cannot do what we did at the last election, because we didn't endorse the net zero legislated targets. We just talked about some sort of aspiration. It was rubbish. It didn't make any sense. And if we do what we did in the last election, this time around, we're going to get the same result. We've got to show Australians this time around that we are prepared to fight for them. We are prepared to stand up for common sense. The Nats are going in the right direction, and we need to follow, and we need to do that very, very quickly.
Hear, hear. James.
Well, do you think you have the numbers, though, in the party room to get there, to get that proper commitment to just getting rid of net zero and getting on with your lives together as a coalition? Or is there a concern that, because I've heard people like Andrew Bragg say, oh, net zero is non-negotiable, we have to have net zero, that you're going to wind up in some sort of terrible halfway house that's going to drag the pain on forever?
Well, we have never won an election by sitting on the fence, and Australians expect us to fight hard for them and to take a common sense position. And I do think we've got the numbers, because, yes, there is a group of people in the Liberal Party who support some sort of net zero aspiration, but I think there are many more, when combined with the Nationals, who think it's ridiculous. This is a policy that has fundamentally failed Australia. I've said before on your program, I think this is the biggest policy failure in living memory. We've got to take the bull by the horns here. We've got to show courage. We've got to show moral conviction. We've got to show that we are clear about our position, and that's why we have got to reject reject net zero in its entirety. And let's not forget what happened in The Voice. When we started prosecuting the case against The Voice, which of course was going to divide Australia on racial grounds, only 40% of Australians supported us. But we turned that around.
Yep.
And we turned it around because we fought. And I am really, I've got such a strong sense of conviction that if we fight this hard, we will win, and we can win the next election, because the rubbish that is happening in our community in Victoria and right across this country is just sending our country backwards. And of course, we are showing how hypocritical we are as a nation. We're exporting massive amounts of coal and gas to other countries, and yet we are denying our own people these resources which make us prosperous and keep electricity prices down. So please, to my colleagues, I say, let's embrace common sense and get rid of net zero in its entirety.
Well, you just prosecuted the argument perfectly right there. That's the campaign there, done. Let's just ask about one other issue. The Governor-General is supposed to be above politics, and yet the current Governor-General, Sam Mostyn, is a member or a patron of Equality Australia. And that association is something that is troubling to me. I know it's troubling to you, Senator. This is a far-left activist group. How can we have a Governor-General who has got a association with an activist group while she's serving in that role?
Well, she can't continue to serve as patron now that Equality Australia has become an extreme ideological organisation which is denying the protection of women's rights, women-only spaces, the right of women to play women-only sport. I mean, it is just insane. The definition of women and men has basically been expunged from the Sex Discrimination Act. Now, Sal Grover, in the Giggle versus Tickle case, is fighting that. Equality Australia is opposing this. It's just completely insane. And even the Lesbian Action Group is standing with Sal Grover to protect the rights of women. And really, the Governor-General has got herself caught up in a very big controversy. She cannot continue to be patron of this extremist organisation, and she must stand down.
Senator, great to chat to you as always. Sarah Henderson, fantastic, Victorian Senator there. So many words of wisdom, just fantastic. We'll speak again soon. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.